Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Hayward. I'm from the Absolute Business Mindset podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we have an episode with William Gammon, who is the owner and founder of Gammon Associates. In this wide and extended conversation, we talk about lots of different areas about his business and things that he has done in his career. He talks about coaches and mentors that he's had in his life that have made amazing fast forward in changes in his life and his business. He spent 30 years as a financial advisor, and we talk about the wide variety of the financial industry and other businesses and how they've changed with new regulations, which he feels are trying to push businesses forward, but can sometimes hamstring them. We then go into a live demonstration you'll be able to see on this video about the website simulator, which I urge you all to go to and have a look at. It is amazing. It has a great amount of detail and is an incredible bit of kit. So you'll see a live demonstration of that. Then we talk about marketing and how it really is impacting business and how it can impact your business. This is a wide-ranging conversation, which I hope you will enjoy. If you are enjoying this content, please do give it a thumbs up. Please give it a like. Please do click the bell icon and subscribe to the channel as well. You will then get updated with all of the different content that we've got on there, which is extensive now with lots of different interviews on the YouTube channel. Lastly, if you have any thoughts and ideas about this content, please do leave the comments down below. I will have a look through them. If there's anything I can incorporate into the channel, or if there's people that you want me to try and meet, then do message in the comments below. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day, and I hope that you enjoy this podcast chat. Thanks a lot. Today we have William Gammon, who is the owner and founder of Gammon Associates. Hello, William. How are you today?
I'm fine, Mark. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well, really well. It's a really hot day in London, and we don't do weather this hot very often, and so I feel a little bit sweltered, to be honest. But apart from that, I'm really good, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today, William.
I'm just as excited as you are.
Great stuff.
And so let's share the excitement with your guest.
Exactly, with our audience. Let's go for it. I say the podcast is called Absolute Business Mindset. So the first question I ask everyone is, what does a business mindset mean to you?
Well, to me, it means you're growth minded, you're development minded, you're open to all people and all things, and you're looking to serve.
That's something that's come through more than I actually thought initially. It was the issue of serving your clients and your employees is something I think that's really interesting. And that sort of mindset, it's less about you as the ego of the business. It's more about serving your clients and your employees. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And that's what got me into coaching. I've been fortunate to have many coaches throughout my life. And when I retired from the financial industry a couple of years ago, I sat down here in my office upstairs in our home, and I thought about what I'd like to do with the rest of my life. And in reviewing my life, I found that I'd achieved much, but I'd done that with the help of many. I had great coaches, from secretaries to bosses to some of the best coaches on the planet.
So why don't we just explore that before we go into the story of your journey? Can we just explore that? So you said you've had many different types of coaches and mentors. Is there one that sort of stands out, maybe one of your early ones that was quite pivotal in your career? Can you name one and maybe talk about them a little bit?
Well, the first one I'll name is Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the Reverend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. I ran into him early on in my career in the airline business when I was living at Pensacola, Florida, and working at Naval Air Station there. And Camille, a hurricane, came through the Gulf Coast and really destroyed things. And a lot of the members of our church went over to a little town in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and helped rebuild a church. And the following year, he came to give a sermon and give our church the award of the Church of the Year in the United States.
Oh, amazing.
And he said something to me there that has helped me in my career and has also helped me help others. He said this: thank God for the bottom, because when you're there, there's no way to go but up. And let me tell you, the bottom is as far down anybody can go, and no one wants to go that far. But that is something that I have found that I could use myself and help others use, because if you were to take a piece of paper and split it east and west with a line and call that line the hope line, when you're below that hope line, you're spiraling down. And when you're above that hope line, you're spiraling up. And so that has helped me get some people, especially people who were not in the best of minds,
Right.
get from where they are to where they need to be. Because when you're above the hope line, you have a reason to go forward. And when you're below, you can't find one. And you need a friend to sort of throw you out a lifesaver and help you and have confidence in you and share love for you in a manner that it can get you out of there.
Yeah.
And you just have to go from where you are to the next place. You don't have to go to the end of the journey. And the more that you can explain that to someone, the easier it is to get them above, because it's like eating an elephant. You do it in little bites.
Yes.
Not one big jump. One giant leap is not what anybody does.
Absolutely. One of my favorites, I was coaching for a little while as well. And one of the things I sort of always loved was the change your behaviors or get better 1% every day. It's not these huge leaps that people make. If you do it consistently over a year, you'll improve 365%. And that's incredible.
Well, actually, you'll improve more than that, because as you make improvements, those improvements compound. For example, if you just took two things and you did those things by 3% each,
yeah,
the second one goes up 3% of 103 instead of 3% of 100.
Yes.
And so it's the power of compounding that has the causal effect on small things, making big differences.
Absolutely.
And that's an enormous thing to share with someone.
It is. It's a real eye-opener for some people. So 100% agree with you there, William. All right, I want to talk a little bit about your education. So when I was trying to delve in a little bit and your upbringing, I was able to see that you did a marketing and business administration degree, but just talk me through a little bit of your upbringing and how you got to how you got on with education and how you got on with your degree.
Well, education to me has been both formal and informal. And part of that started when I was in high school. My junior year of high school, I spent in Manila, Philippine Islands, with my father. And while there, I had a friend named Manolito Diaz. And we played chess every day. His father and grandfather were both grandmasters. So guess what? He beat me unmercifully and often. But when I come back, I had learned the game of chess very well.
Right.
And I had found that, like a lot of successful people, failures only get you closer to where you want to go. And so when I came back, I could play the entire chess club at the high school at the same time and not lose a match. I'd learned the game.
And your
now,
yes, go on.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask a little bit more. Like, did you have brothers? Did you have sisters? How was that? How was the sort of your upbringing?
Okay, with respect to my family, I had an older and younger sister, but my parents had been divorced when we were very young. Okay. And prior to going to the Philippines, I hadn't seen my father in 10 years. And so that was a huge step. I had not left the state of Virginia prior to that trip. But it also helped me to learn about people and how people all over the world have similar goals and desires. And there's a lot of good people all over the world. And so that, as far as travel, I think it adds to people's education and experience to the degree that they're more open and acceptable of others or strange ideas or strange things or different people. And so I think that helps folks along their journey, especially to understand that the more that we're alike, the more that we can accept folks. And that's one of the big problems on the planet today, is there's polarity instead of togetherness on a lot of things. That we're getting there, but we're getting there a lot slower than where we could.
Yeah, I would agree. And that polarization, especially with, I don't want to go into politics, but within politics and things like that is really big in the US and really big in the UK at the moment. There is definitely a polarization of people, which is a real shame. Is a massive negative for our society. And I think that's something we need to work harder at.
And the people that we put trust in of different parties, whether you call them what you call them or whether we call them what we call them, is not what we send people or put trust in people to do when we put them in office. But it seems like, regardless of whether they're red or blue or whatever color you want to call them and wherever they are, there is the lack of follow through on the promises that the people expect from them. And I'll leave it there.
I think that's a good place to leave politics. So you were a financial advisor for 30 years. What was your experience in that role, and how did it change over the years?
Well, the role really didn't change for me as much as you might expect, because when I first started out with Shearson Lehman Hutton in the city of Indianapolis, a city where I'd never been before or never lived before, but the man who hired me, Joe Massotti, told me, "Son, you can do well for your clients if you just work half the time." I said, "Joe, that sounds pretty good." And he said, "Well, Bill, now you tell me which 12 hours you want to work every day." And so I listened to Joe, and he was one of my mentors, but there were others. And I had the attitude that if you turn your clients into friends instead of your friends into clients, you can build a pretty successful thing. And so from the beginning, I started out with this goal. Whoever walks in my door or rings my phone is going to feel better after the conversation than they did before. And so if you have that attitude and approach, the only thing that changes is your clients get larger and they bring more friends and everybody's happy. And who doesn't want more happiness and more money? And I help make a lot of people very rich.
And did you, because from what I understand from speaking to other financial advisors, they said that the industry got a lot more regulated after the 80s and sort of early 90s. And that,
well, whether it was finances or others, regulation has gone on all over the world in all kinds of things. Not just the financial business. Look at the tobacco business, or look at the healthcare business, or look at any business. Look at the auto business. They're regulated now on how much emissions come out of a car. And how many other things that weren't there years ago. So regulation has its good parts and its bad parts, but is put there for the benefit of the mass. And once we understand that and follow the rules, we seem to be better off. if you look at the air quality of most countries today, it's better because of regulations.
Yeah.
And so it's not one company or any company that's been hurt by regulations. It's that the governance bodies of any company have decided that these regulations would help the population better. And right or wrong, they're the regulations. And if companies follow those regulations, people tend to be better off.
And
Air quality in the world today because of some regulations.
but as a financial advisor, were you recommending products, or were you giving
I
advice?
recommended products that I thought fit the client's risk tolerance and needs,
Right.
and kept portfolios diversified. And here is what I found. In my 30 plus years, I became the number one broker with 3 different large organizations. And as I moved, I didn't change my focus on my client. I just take care of the people that I can. It's like in life. If you do what's right yourself, and doing the next right thing isn't easy, and the next easy thing isn't always right, you generally come out better than if you make poor decisions or you don't think about what you're doing. And like everybody, you're going to find some obstacles and some things that you need to overcome. And wherever you are, more education and better rules and procedures will always help you advance. And so it's the accepting and integration of the steps that you take as you go higher, because the more you move higher, the more responsibility you have for people and things, the better off you're going to be, and the people who follow you are going to be. At least that's what I found.
And it sounds to me, William, that relationships are incredibly important to you, whether they were clients or now your clients as a coach. Now, often,
let me respond to that for just a minute.
Go for it.
In today's world, relationships are everything. Guess what? In the technical world, people are afraid of competing with a robot. I don't know a single person that has a relationship with one of them, so they don't cause me any fear. People want to do business with people.
Absolutely.
And the people who have good relationships with their clients, they get to keep them. They get to get their friends. And so relationships is a very important thing, but you build them for this reason. You build them because you love people and you use money. You don't do it the other way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So moving on to being the founder of Gammon and Associates. So taking it fast forwarding all up to now. So tell me a little bit about your business now.
My business now is still in a growth mode because I've only had this business for a couple of years. And in the first several years, a lot of businesses don't make it. 80% of all new businesses don't make it 5. Yeah. And the reason is a lot of things come up as surprises, and a lot of things you don't have the basis and the foundations to deal with, or the organization to deal with. Mm. If you look at companies that fail, they're usually overextended. They try to do more than they should. And so it's like if you take the slow road and you go the way that you should, and you find people who have been there before to give you advice and to hold your hand and light your path along the journey, those are the people that you should seek out for employees and mentors to help you do what you really want to do. Because most people who start a business want to provide a service or a product that's going to benefit folks. And if you're going to continue to do that, the best way to do it is stay within the bounds, follow the rules, and help as many people as you can.
This is quite a generic question, but I'm just interested because we used to be told that cash is king, and having an allocation of cash within your business is important to get through the lean times or the difficult times, the recessions, etc. We've also recently, with Grant Cardone, people talking that cash is trash and you should put everything into property and earn money from there. What's your view as an advisor, as a coach for businesses on the value of cash in the business?
Well, the value of cash in the business will always be there. And some of the best people who have built businesses, people like Warren Buffett, has always had plenty of cash on hand to buy businesses when everybody else is selling them at a bargain price. However, I don't think cash is either king nor trash. I think people are. Cash is not what should be valued, although it has a value. Cash is a necessary thing, like all other things in business, but it's not king. What's king is values and reputation, because you can spend a lifetime building it, and it only takes an instant to go away. And reputation is something that, for everybody that will recommend a business, there are a lot of people who won't, because they're somewhat afraid that something will happen that they don't know. And all of us want to protect our own reputation. And all of us do not want to be associated with this or that. And because you don't get as many thanks as you get complaints. When a client has a complaint about something, it should be listened to and dealt with, rather than put off or not revealed. Some of the biggest organizations out there have not been truthful with people. And guess what happens to the leaders? They end up going to jail at the end because they misled. And so you don't want to do that. And if you look at the financial business, a few people that have hoodwinked some clients have ended up causing people to be cautious of everybody else in the business. And that transpires everywhere, because trust is worthy of us earning it every day by doing what we should.
Absolutely. So how do you help executives as a mentor or as a coach?
Well, different executives have different needs. The top three needs that most businesses have: more prospects, more clients, which means more conversions, and more profits. That's what most people there want to do. But to get there, you have to do a lot of other things. You have to have the staff and the basis to provide the service and the needs that you want, and the people to deliver it. Because if I tell you I'm doing something and I don't do it, that's a little chop out of the tree. And sooner or later, it doesn't take many little chops for the tree to fall. And so deal with the needs of the people that you're in. Help the businesses. Now, if I look at a business, the first thing I look at is 12 areas, not 3. And below that, I look at 28 more. And I use AI to come up with almost 5 million views of those things. And I wrote a book called Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Way. And I use some of those in the book to tell people about it. Because if you were my client, first thing I would do is say, look, I got this simulator that'll show you what your business will do if you work with me. And so my clients know beforehand what areas we're going to attack. And it's the ones that they're most needing to begin with. And if you look at a journey and just take 12, it's probably going to take a year to implement all of those, because you want to do them one at a time.
Okay.
And the one that you want to do first, is the one that you will get the most benefit from. And so the first one I look at is, where's your income? Where's your cost? Those two. And then if you look at cost, quickest return. If you got cost that is not benefiting you, you need to cut them. If you had a boat and it had holes in it, first thing you'd do is patch those holes before you take it out into the harbor and to the ocean, right?
Right.
And so that's the first thing, is look at cost. And if you don't have lean controls on those costs, let's get something going. And then the next thing I look at is where your business is coming in and what's going on there. And today's thing, a lot of business comes from the internet. Hello, if I tried to tell you how to run your business with my marketing degree from the University of Iowa in 1979, I'm sorry, it wouldn't float, much less get you across the channel. And so I use current AI and other techniques to try to help people refine what they're doing and get a better grip of it. And
So
focus on how to do it better.
Let's just talk about your AI that you're using. So are you modeling different scenarios that that might happen to the business? Is that what you're trying to?
That's exactly right. And if you'd like to see it, I'm happy to take you there and let you put it on the screen.
You can share it if you want. Would you like to share what this will be only for the YouTube guys, but yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll add you as a co-host. And
no, I'm going to make you, I'm going to give you stay the host. You
okay.
Go to this website.
Okay.
GammonandAssociates.net/simulator.
Associates. Sorry, Gammon and Associates.
.net, N-E-T.
Yeah.
/simulator, SIMULATOR.
Right. Okay, guys. I'm literally doing this as we speak. So
this is going to be a nice little thing that your clients will appreciate.
Yeah.
And we can then share some more things with them.
Yeah. Okay. Simulator. No, let me just.
TOR.
Yeah. No, I've got it.
And once you got it, put it up on the screen so we can both talk about it.
Again, it's not that.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay, take your time. I'm not the techno wizard either, but I do know people and I do know business.
Yeah.
Position well.
Okay, right. So
5 decades of experience in my hip pocket.
So I'm on this page.
Okay, and after net, put /simulator. Go up to the top.
Oh, I've got
I got a lot of things in there, so
simulate.
I got a lot of value for people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But the easiest way people learn is look at it.
Yeah.
Now, just look at the headline. What if your numbers told a different story? Compounding growth and accelerating profits. Do you know a business that don't want those two?
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's what we're looking for.
We can use it to help yours or anybody. And it's not just one. And I only need 3 numbers. Annual revenue, gross profit margin, net profit margin.
Okay.
So let's say you had $1 million business in your business last year.
Yeah.
Put in $1 million.
100. Is that the right zeros? 100.
One more zero.
More. There we go.
Okay. And let's say your gross profit, you picked the number, but let's say it was 80%. Coaching business doesn't have a lot of expenses, but it has some.
Okay, so let's say, oh, it's gone. This is by percentage, 80. Sorry. Yeah, go for it.
And let's say your net profit was 50.
Okay. I'll select.
Okay, you select the currency.
Let's do US.
Okay. Now, let's err on down a little further first before we go further.
Right.
Now, if you look at, just go back up a little bit. Okay, those are the 12 things that I mentioned.
Oh, right.
Earlier.
Yeah.
And let's just say we only did 3% increases in these over the next 12 months. But we have to start somewhere, and we have to be quick because we're on a short time here.
Yeah.
So if you look at that little green bar and you slide it over to where it's 3%, or you go over to where the 0 is and you just put in 3.
Oh, I could have just done it easier, but okay, here we go.
Okay. Now you'll see that the difference is not just 3% numbers coming down, but as they go up, they total up to where that 3% takes that $1 million up another $328,000 on your profits.
Right. Amazing. Right. Got
That's
it.
a pretty amazing thing. That's not 30%. That's better than 30%. Now, that's just on those top 12. Now, on down the screen a little further.
Can I just talk them through the 12 things? Because everyone who's on the podcast now is probably going to be a bit confused. But the 12 things.
They can go there and
they can.
I'll later, but
briefly. So it's cutting costs, market dominating position, compelling offer, increased prices, upsell and cross-sell, bundling, downsell, additional products and services, drip campaign, alliances and joint ventures, more leads, and digital marketing. So just so everyone's got an overview who might be listening to it. So please do go to gammonassociates.net/simulator and you'll be able to see this as well, everyone.
Okay. Now, that takes your current profit from $500,000 on that million to $828,000 on that million, and a 5-year impact just at 3% of those 12 at $1.6 million. And if you want to see further, click on a little yellow button and I'll take you to the other 40 real quick. Okay. Or the total 40, the other 28.
Right.
Okay. Keep on going down to the bottom, or you can read them to the audience as we go.
Okay. Go on, keep going. Yep.
Okay. And now the profit impact is $1.7 million, or 350% of what you had. Now it's going to take us a couple of years or more to get all 40 implemented.
Right.
But if you started the journey and you were getting this, you wouldn't leave too soon, would you?
No.
The average day of the person working with our firm is just about 4 years.
Wow.
And the reason is
this is a lot of detail. This is a lot of detail you've built into this, isn't it?
This is a couple of $1 million in years worth of investment for the company.
I was just going to say, how long does it take you to be able to build all of this?
Well, it's been years in development, and it's been enhanced along the journey.
Yeah.
But go back to the bottom for a second now.
Yeah.
Going down. If you started with this business at $1 million, your new annual gross revenue would have gone up to 2.773.
Right.
Current profit would have gone up from $500,000 to $2.25 million.
Yeah.
I think that far exceeds the value of our coaching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys.
That's the kind of firm I'm with.
Right.
That's the kind of firm I help other firms build. But everybody's going to have different things, because some people are already real lean on some of these, and those things won't do that. But one of the things all those AI looks, and if you go back up to the top again, hang on, going up to the top, there's little vignettes here, like the power of compounding is about 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know if we want to waste that talking now, because we just showed it to you.
Keep going on the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. But if you look at the AI that we use, it looks at all those areas almost 5 million times, just slightly under.
Right.
And then it looks at your business and says, what order would these be implemented in that would benefit first? Cost cutting is usually the first one, because all of that money goes straight to the bottom line.
Yeah.
And then do the other things. And if you do that and work with us, we deliver far beyond expectations. That's why my book title, Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Way. And that book you can pick up free on that website too.
Okay.
And all your clients can also.
All right, guys, I urge you to go to the website and maybe try the simulator and then download the book as well. Look, it's absolutely fascinating. on what you've done already. What do you think is the sort of biggest challenge for a senior executive at the moment? And that obviously depends on industry and things, but what do you think as a sort of general, what's the biggest challenge? Is it technology or adopting technology? Is it relationships? Is it making sure that you've got the right pipeline of clients coming through? What is the maybe couple of things that you think is the biggest challenge?
It's going to differ in differing businesses. Until I talk to that senior officer, and I talk to many presidents and CFOs, it will be them driving the bus, not me. And so I don't start with a preconceived idea about anyone.
Okay.
Here's why. Preconceived ideas are in the roadmaps of the minds of the individuals, like yours and mine. And for anyone to change anything, we have to create some new mental highways in our own minds. And when we start without them, it's easier to create them than if we have to first tear this bridge down before we can go across this little cow path and make it into a highway. And so I don't have a preconceived thing that this works everywhere. It doesn't. What works here won't work there because they're different, just like you and I are different. Your needs are different from my needs. You have strengths that I don't have. I have weaknesses that you don't have. All of us have strengths and weaknesses. But the thing all of us need to do is build on our strengths and eliminate the weaknesses. Bring in somebody else that can help us where we're weak. If we're a CFO, that's where you need the help.
Yeah.
And it might be his financial guy isn't doing as good a job, or his marketing guy. And you have to look at it before you say. You can't say this is what happens, because when you do, you're setting yourself up for failure, because you don't know until you look at the situations and you do the homework. But once we do that journey together, and we go through your business or any business with the leader that we should be working with, or who he tells us to work with, we get the results he's looking for. And that's his benefit, because any leader that we can strengthen is a better leader. And when people working with that leader do that, he's able to surround himself with the people that he needs and accomplish more, or she, as the case might be. And a lot of leaders are women today, and that glass ceiling has already been busted a long time ago, and is going to see more of that. And that's a good thing.
How do you think social media has affected marketing strategies for executives?
Well, let's look at marketing strategies. Social media today delivers more eyeballs than newspapers, probably equal to and sometimes more than TV. And so it is a powerful thing, but is both used and abused by people today. There is negative stuff out there, or false promises out there in social media, just like everywhere else. And there's going to be some of that everywhere. So you can't let that keep you inside your shell. You have to work within it. The turtle gets nowhere until he sticks his head out. And so you got to do what you can do. But social media today is extremely powerful, and more people use it today than ever have. And some abuse it like they've abused other things in the past. But eventually that gets ferreted out and will be ferreted out. And so you have to work within the bounds of what we have, and it's a powerful tool for anyone to use today. And if they don't know how to use it, they should find someone that could help them get to where they need to get with that to help their organization. But it's not the end all be all and only way. There is no only way.
It's really interesting you say that, because you see companies, and I saw this with Amazon over the last sort of 10 years, who was very heavily promoting on things like social media. And interestingly, you said sometimes even television and social media can be equated. Now, I sort of still see social media as a portal of being able to generate eyeballs and marketing and part of your marketing strategy. But you see companies go through different thresholds when their revenues grow and their ambition grows as well. And so for example, you might use maybe radio advertising, depends on your demographic. You might use social media advertising, and as I said, when I was looking at Amazon, I really saw when Amazon had hit that point where they suddenly started advertising on the Super Bowl or on sort of major television places at those portals. Do you think there is a sort of hierarchy on your marketing strategy on using things like social media, radio, billboards, newspaper ads, up to television?
Here's what I say. I say I can help your business without you spending another nickel on advertising. And we need to do that first before we go out doing the advertising. So we won't get the lesson of spending a lot of money on things that don't work, because social media needs to be very finely targeted.
Yes.
And if you want to know how fine, it's like a doctor with lasers working on a cancer today.
Yeah.
It needs to be pinpoint fine.
Absolutely.
And dialed in. And so if I got lots of characteristics in other places that can help a business first, social media is not the first place to focus, but it is a place that should be in the mix of marketing and advertising. And that's the best way to put it, I think.
Okay. Right. Okay. What about what's the plan for the next 2 to 5 years for you, William, and for you and your business?
With me and my business, I'm going to continue helping as many people as I can, what they want to accomplish, for as long as the good Lord leaves me here. And my reach is getting further and further every week and month and year that I'm in the business, because as I build my business, I become more from the not known to the known in the area that I'm working today.
Right. So just more of the same.
Well, here's the truth of the matter.
Right.
You help people one at a time or one company at a time with the people in that company, and you do that. And then you go to the next company and you fit as many people as you can in.
Yeah.
And as you get more known, your staff gets better so you can help more, but you grow it organically and happily, not too quickly.
Yeah, I would agree.
And my grandmother taught me that years ago with an old saying. You'll love it.
Well,
when you're green, you grow. And when you're ripe, you rot. So stay green.
Lovely. All right, we're coming towards the end of the interview. I asked the same 6 questions to all of my guests. They're quick fire questions. They don't need a quick fire answer. But these are sort of a little bit thought provoking for you. First question is, what's the best decision that you made?
The best decision I made was to marry my wife. She's a gift from God. She has 3 doctor's degrees and she helps little kids.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Amazing. What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
I think because I was raised in a church, and let me just explain that to you a little more. Because of the divorce in my family when I was very young, I learned at a very young age. It's not where you pray and that you live. My mother was Baptist, my father was Methodist, my stepfather was Presbyterian, and my stepmother was Catholic. So it's something that I learned, that it's not religion that gets you there, but spirituality is a part of all of us.
Yeah.
And spiritual leaders go beyond the Christian faith. There's lots of faiths in the world. And whether somebody is Buddhist or Catholic or Hindu or whatever faith, that faith helps them. They have a supreme being that they pray to. And so that faith, like that person, should be respected. And although there have been wars about it in the past, I think we've gotten beyond that. And we need to get beyond that in other areas of the world too. And so spirituality has been a part of my path, and I've had good spiritual leaders in my history, like other leaders in business. And so I respect everybody's faith. I got a mailbox bumper sticker I'll share with you too. It says, "Hate has no home here."
Nice. Yeah.
And so if you sort of follow those types of philosophies, I think when obstacles appear in our lives, it's easier to find the good and get by them than to focus on the bad and stay stuck.
Absolutely, 100%. Next question. I mean, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but who's the person or persons that has helped you most in your career?
Well, there have been so many of them, it's hard to say one. I will say in the coaching area, there have been several. In the business area, there have been several. In the spiritual world, there have been several. And so it's hard to just say one person.
Right.
There have been such a multitude of them that wouldn't be fair to the many just to say that was one person that made me who I am.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. I get that. I get that. That's fine. Next question. Do you have any regrets?
Here's the truth of the matter. No matter where we are or what decisions we've made to get us to the point we are, when you're regretting something, you're looking back. And looking back is a good thing sometimes, but if you really focus more on looking forward, you get further. And things that are regrets tend to hold you back rather than to help you forward.
Yeah.
And so regrets are things that I've learned long ago, a simple matter. If you were out in a boat fishing and the boat was stuck, if you took the knife that you always have on a boat and you just cut the rope to that anchor, you'd be able to go down the river of life faster and further without being stuck. And so I've shared that with many. And in one client a couple of months ago, it was an immediate revelation for him. It was immediate epiphany moment for him. And he was able to move forward at a faster pace at something that he'd been stuck on for years.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of who I've become. And I've become that with the help of a lot. And I wouldn't have done it without the help of many. And so I'm proud that I have in my toolbox, not just my education and experience or my college learning, but all of those tools and then some by people who have helped me and given me those things to help others with.
Right. What does legacy mean to you?
It means the things that I do every day to help people will go forward long after I'm here. Because things that people did years ago to help me have brought me here. And I'll stand on their shoulders. And so there'll be people in the future standing on mine because I had some ideas or little nuggets that really went from seeds to trees. And it's great to see that growth in people that you helped.
Absolutely. And lastly, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
You can find me at the website that I shared, gammonassociates.net. Or you could find me at Coach Bill, trustedfriend.com. And I have other sites too, but I'm really focused on the one that I think can help most people today. And if someone goes to gammonassociates.net, not only will you find that simulator, if you put in /simulator, but you'll find other things. My book, Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Pathway, is there. And it's a free gift to you if you want to download it.
Amazing. Amazing.
In that book, it uses some of the things that I talked about today in those 5 just as illustrations.
Right.
But there's much more. And so just take time, go around. If something makes you happy, check it out. And if you want to talk to me, push the button, ask me any question. I'm there to help people.
Amazing. Thank you so much, thank you so much, William, for your time today. It's been absolutely fascinating, and you really challenged me for going onto the website and getting it all up there, and we managed to do it. So thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and have a lovely day.
God bless you and the people in your life. Stay away from the virus and thrive every day.
Thank you.